In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the Receive Payment module. First, click on Finance and Receive Payment. Here you will be able to see a list of your previous Receive Payment entries, and if you would like to add a new entry, you can either add a new customer payment or a new receipt voucher. A customer payment entry is for when a customer pays for their outstanding payments, while a receipt voucher is for when you receive payments that are not from a sales entry. So let's first start by adding a new customer payment entry. Click on Add New Customer Payments. And once you do so, you'll be brought to the Receive Payment Add page. Here you will fill in information regarding your customer payment entry. So first, begin by selecting your branch at the top right corner. After that, you can move on to your OR number where you can fill in your own OR number or let the system auto-generate it for you by leaving it blank. Next up is the payment date, in which case I'll select today. Next, I'll move on to the customer field, and let's say the customer XYZ Sandrian Berhad is paying their outstanding payments. So after I typed in XYZ Sandrian Berhad in the customer field, I'll click on Lookup, and I'll select XYZ Sandrian Berhad. Once you select your customer, the system will automatically display all their outstanding documents down here in the Outstanding Receive Payments section. If you would like the system to display all invoice for this customer, you can check the Show All Invoice checkbox over here. And if you would like to reference a particular document in this customer payment entry, you can type in their document number in the reference number field over here. So let's say I type in 2-IVI1715 over here, and I'll check on Show Zero Balance since they've already finished paying their outstanding amounts. And as you can see, the invoice number 2-IVI1715 has appeared in the Outstanding Receive Payment section down here. So I'll just remove it by unchecking the Show Zero Balance checkbox. And moving on, under the reference number, the system will also tell you the total outstanding amount of this customer. Moving on to the Outstanding Receive Payment section over here. Here is where you will select the invoice of which the customer is paying their outstanding amount for. So let's say in my case, the customer is paying the outstanding amount for the invoice 2-CSI1570. So I'll check the checkbox beside it and I'll click on Add. After you do so, the invoice will be moved to the payment details section over here, and you can continue on adding other invoices if necessary. To remove an invoice from the payment details section over here, all you have to do is just find the invoice and click on Delete. Okay, and the invoice will be returned to the Outstanding Receive Payment section up here. However, let's say the customer only paid a partial amount of their outstanding payment instead of the full amount. So just select the invoice number that the customer is paying for, and in the pay amount over here, just type in the amount they are paying. So let's say the customer is paying 50. After I'm done, I'll click on Add. And as you can see, the pay amount will now be 50 instead of the full amount of 80. Continuing on, if you would like to search for a particular outstanding document in this list, you can utilize the search bar up here. So let's say I'm only searching for the document 2-IVI1722. I'll click on Search. And as you can see, the system will only list out the document that I've searched. To reset the list, all you have to do is just click on Search again with a blank field. And as you can see, the system will reset the list. Now, if you don't want to add the invoices manually, you can let the system do it for you by using the Auto button. All you have to do is just go down here and insert the input amount, which is the amount the customer is paying for their outstanding payments. So let's say the customer is paying 50 ringgit. After I typed in 50, I'll click on Auto over here. And the system will automatically calculate 50 ringgit from all outstanding documents and transfer them from the Outstanding Receive Payment section into the Payment Details section down here. The system will also let you know the total pay amount of this customer payment entry and their total pay amount in currency if you are using any other foreign currency. Additionally, you can also see your payment amount in your selected currency and your gain-loss amount of your currency. Next up, you can select the payment method of this customer. So let's say the customer is paying through check, and you can select the account that this outstanding payment is received into. So let's say CIMB Bank. And to the right, you can fill in extra payment information for this customer payment entry, if any. Finally, after filling in your bank charge, you can double check your information. And after you're done, you can click on Save to save this customer payment entry. Other than that, if you would like to print out this entry, you can also click on Print over here. And if you would like to WhatsApp your customer regarding this entry, you can also click on the WhatsApp icon over here. Keep in mind that this option requires you to have WhatsApp open and logged in your desktop in order to function properly. Do note that the Print and WhatsApp function also automatically save your entry, so there's no need to worry if you click on either of these instead of Save. If you would like to discard this entry, you can also click on Exit, but in my case, I'll click on Save. As you can see, my entry has been successfully saved into the system. Now that we're done with adding a new customer payment, let's move on to adding a new receipt voucher. Click on Add Receipt Voucher, and you will then be brought to the Official Receipt Add page. Just like the customer payment entry, start by selecting your branch. And then you can move on to your other details. So let's say you receive this payment from an existing customer. You can type in their name over here and click on lookup. After that, you can select them and their information will be automatically filled in depending on the details you gave them in the customer module. If you would like to create a new customer entry for this receipt, you can also click on new customer over here and the system will redirect you to the customer master app page where you can then fill in your customer details. So going back, you can continue to fill in other details such as the document number if you want to, and also the check number for future reference. After you're done here, you can move on to the journal section over here. And here you can search for the account that received the payment. So let's say I received it in my e-wallet account. So I'll type in e-wallet and click on lookup. After that, I'll select e-wallet. And after that, I'll fill in the other information such as item description, reference number, credit amount, and tax if any. So for item description, you can type in the customer's name and maybe let's say e-wallet for future reference. After that, I can type in reference number if I want to. And for credit amount, let's say I received 500 ringgit. So after I'm done filling in everything, I'll click on add and my entry will appear in a list down here. To edit my entry, all I have to do is just click on edit and I can do my editing. Once I'm done, I can click on update and my changes will be made. To delete an entry, all I have to do is just click on delete, OK, and my entry will be deleted. Other than that, if you would like to create a new account for an entry, you can also click on new account over here. After that, the system will redirect you to the account master app page where you can then add your new account entry. So after you're done adding in your journal entries, you can then move on to the summary section. Here, the system will summarize the amounts in this entry for you, such as the subtotal, tax amount, and your total amount after tax. So after you're done, you can click on save to save your entry, or you can print out your entry by clicking on print. If you would like to discard this entry, you can also click on exit, but in my case, I'll just click on save. As you can see, my entry has been saved into the system. So that's it for adding new entries. Now, what if you would like to edit the details of particular entries? Well, all you have to do is just find them in this list and click on their OR number. Once you do so, you'll be brought to their respective edit pages where you can then make your changes. After you're done, you can just click on save and your changes will be made. Additionally, if you would like to void a customer's payment entry, you can also find them in this list and click on their OR number. After that, you can click on void and their payment will be voided. So for now, I'll click on exit since I'm not trying to void an entry. And moving on, if you would like to duplicate an entry, you can also find them in the list and click on copy. Keep in mind that this can only be done for receipt vouchers and not customer payment entries. So once you click on copy, the system will create another entry with identical information to the entry you just copied from. This is particularly useful if you're trying to create multiple receipt vouchers for the same items or the same person. So I'll click on exit since I'm not trying to create a new entry. And continuing on, if you would like to print out your entries, you can also find them and click on print. Once you do so, the system will bring you to the printing page where you can then print out your receipts or customer payments. Going back, if you would like to print multiple entries at once, instead of clicking on print one by one, you can utilize the checkboxes on the left. So once you've selected your entries, you can click on print receipt over here and you'll be brought to the printing page where you can print multiple of them at once. Moving on, if you would like to search for a particular entry in this list, instead of searching for them one by one, you can utilize either the search bar down here or the search bar up here. The difference being that the search bar down here is more generic and can only search for keywords inside the list, while the search bar up here is more specific and can search for values within certain columns. So let's say I want to search for the keyword 30 in this list. I'll type in 30 over here. And as you can see, the system will return to me all entries with 30 in their columns. Now, while this is useful for quick and generic searches, what if I want to be more specific? So let's say I only want to view entries that were created in the month of December 2024. So in the payment date field up here in the first box, I'll fill in 2024, December 1st. And in the second box, I'll fill in 2024, December 31st. After that, I'll click on search. And as you can see, the system will now only return to me entries that were created in the month of December 2024. Besides using the search bar, if you would like to filter the entries based on column values, you can also go to your selected column header and click on the funnel icon. So let's say I select these three and click on OK. The system will filter out the entries based on my selection. Additionally, you can also sort the entries by ascending or descending order based on column values by clicking on your selected column header like so. Another thing you can do is to group your entries by column value. To do that, all you have to do is just drag your selected column header to this blank space up here. So as you can see, once I've dragged the payee column header up here, the system will now group the entries based on payee value. To expand all collapse groups, all you have to do is just click on the little arrow beside their group name, and they will expand or collapse accordingly. If you would like to create a subgroup, all you have to do is just drag your second selected column header to the back of the first one. So as you can see, now there will be a subgroup in the list as well. To ungroup your entries, all you have to do is just drag them back down. Last but not least, if you would like to change the way that this list looks, such as enabling or disabling certain columns or reordering their sequence, you can go up here to this search bar and turn on Personalized Column. Here you will be able to enable or disable certain columns by clicking on these buttons over here. You can also reorder their sequence by dragging them around. So after you're done, you can scroll down here and click on Update. Now as you can see, the system will update the list according to my personalization. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.